Hello, I'm W.T. Edmonson, and welcome to Focus. Freedom often causes unbelievable silence. Well, I'm pleased to have with us today Dr. John Mosley, Interim President of Lincoln University here in Jefferson City, Missouri. Dr. Mosley was named to the position of Interim President by the Board of Curators in May of this year, after having previously served as the Lincoln University Athletic Director and also the men's basketball coach. Dr. Mosley earned his bachelor's degree in physical education, a master's degree in education from East Carolina University, and an education doctorate degree in educational leadership and policy analysis from the University of Missouri. The primary goal of this interview is to bring the community and Lincoln University alumni up to date on the status of things on campus and the initiatives that have been implemented in his term. I am very especially interested in the announcement of the Blue Tiger Advantage Scholarship. This sounds to be very exciting news for Lincoln University. Dr. Mosley, welcome to this special edition of Focus.
Thank you. Great to be here.
As we get into the topics of discussion, we like to keep people kind of hanging. So before we talk about the scholarship, we're going to have a conversation about a few other things.
Okay, good deal.
Okay. Share with us a bit about your educational and professional background, and tell us how you happened to arrive at this place in the life of John Mosley.
That's a great question. I was really fortunate. My wife, Crystal, and I grew up in eastern North Carolina, little town, Warren County. We claim the whole county. The city's so small. Mm-hmm. And education's always been important to us. We both ended up going to East Carolina, where we both have our undergrad and our master's degrees. And ironically enough, we both got our doctorates from the University of Missouri in educational leadership. And so Lincoln came about when Dr. Kevin Rome came here in 2013. He had been a vice chancellor at North Carolina Central. At that point, I had spent time at the University of Delaware, East Carolina, Wright State University, Winston-Salem State, and then spent 4 years there at North Carolina Central before he gave me the opportunity to come here to be head men's basketball coach. And so, it's been quite a journey to get to Jefferson City. But one that we have greatly appreciated and met a lot of great people along the way.
The transition from just head basketball coach to athletic director, how did that come about?
I was actually back in North Carolina visiting family after my first year here when a member of Dr. Rome's leadership team called to say that they would like for me to serve as the interim for a period of time until they found a permanent. And so he gave me that opportunity. We were really fortunate at that time to catch some synergy. Started to win some in basketball. Started the Blue Tiger Athletic Club, which has become an integral part of Blue Tiger Athletics. And so the synergy that existed led it to become a permanent position, and we just kind of took it and ran with it from there.
Okay. Having been in the business of building teams, striving to get individuals to work as a unit, how have this experience been beneficial stepping into the seat of interim president of the university?
Well, I really believe leaders lead. It's been a situation where I believe you win with people, and you don't, as a leader, I don't see it as a title. I see it as an action, and so. You have to be willing to bring people together to get the most out of them, to surround yourself with really good people. I know as a basketball coach, the better players I had, it's amazing how much better of a coach I was. And so I was really fortunate since in my time here at Lincoln to have a great assistant coach who now gets a chance to be the head coach here. He was with me for all 7 years, and we had some terrific young assistants that come through that have gone on to do tremendous things after they've left us here. And so I think it's really important that you bring a diverse group of people together in pursuit of a common goal. And so it's been something that I've been fortunate to surround myself with really good people.
I think we can all understand that the Board of Curators charged you with a mission and certain administrative goals coming in. But what was your self-imposed mission and goal stepping into seat of interim president?
Well, for me, irregardless of position, it's just to be your absolute best every day. I felt certainly at Lincoln the sense of obligation to begin to address recruiting issues from an enrollment standpoint. It doesn't take a 20-year veteran in higher education to understand that students are your #1 resource. And so looking at the admissions process to try to address the ease of recruitment to admission, to enrollment, to graduation, that's really where we began to really focus our attention between that and then taking care of our people. The staff and faculty at Lincoln has been through a lot over the last few years, COVID related as well. And so it's just a matter of trying to offer care and concern for your people. I believe in people. I believe you win with people, as I've mentioned. I believe if you take care of your people, they'll take care of your students. And so we're all in this thing together here at Lincoln, and I feel like it's a really important time in the university's history.
Upon arriving in the office of president, stepping in that first day or two, what did you immediately identify as the initial challenge that you needed to attack right away?
Wow. Just understanding that what I had done previously wasn't enough. What I knew previously wasn't enough. I have to be the #1 learner. And so I have to be open to making sure that the data tells the story and it's not your heart. And so just being able to rely on the information that we were able to be provided was just critical into ensuring that the decisions that are made are in the best interest of the institution.
I was talking with the studio director before you came in, and we were talking about how things changed as a result of the pandemic and the impact that the pandemic has had on student enrollment as well as involvement. How stressful has it been to step into the position of interim president during this COVID pandemic and the financial and budgetary constraints that the pandemic brought on it?
Right. Well, it's a parent of one. I've got a 6th grader. My wife and I have a 6th grade little girl. When you step into this role, you assume responsibility for the institution. And so the sense of responsibility that comes with that is quite enormous. And so each one of our students becomes, and our faculty and staff become a part of our greater family. And so the #1 concern in the COVID pandemic, even prior to my tenure in this role, has been just the health and safety of our students, faculty, and staff. And so I think it's our students, faculty, and staff have been very conscientious about COVID and its impacts. We've been really fortunate on our campus, even last year in the midst of things, and heading into this year with the Delta variant. We have been fortunate that our cases have been low. As of yesterday, we had 0 cases on our campus, which is something that we're very proud of. And so I would like to thank our campus community for their response. Financially, obviously COVID has presented a number of challenges for many institutions, beginning with enrollment, just giving students the confidence to come back into space. It's what we're seeing across the landscape of higher education is more students that took a gap year, took a break between high school and enrolling in college. And we're hoping that as the numbers continue to trend downward, while COVID is a long way from being over, we hope that people are feeling comfortable about coming out. But financially for the institution, we've been really fortunate. The federal government, the CARES Act funds that have been provided have really benefited directly to our students to support them with their basic needs, as well as to assist with some of their educational costs. And then for our institutional to address many of the challenges that came to ensure that we could keep everybody safe last year.
As you were talking, I thought about this. Chief Gary Hill, chief of the campus police, you guys have instituted the Lincoln University Law Enforcement Academy. What has that program done as far as generating interest in the university? Law enforcement has become a major issue within the past few years. Can you say anything about what's going on there?
Well, first of all, Chief Hill's a great Lincolnite. And when he was hired, I was fortunate to be here during that time. And right away, you could see his passion for Lincoln, for its students, and for this community. And he also had the vision for the Law Enforcement Training Academy. And it was really neat for me to just get to watch him as that concept became a reality. Him and Joe Steenberger on his staff have worked really hard to get that off the ground. Obviously, this summer we received national acclaim for its success. And we are in our second class of cadets right now, as well as we've partnered with St. Louis County. And so we're offering the same training services to 25 officers in St. Louis County this semester as well. And we have a contract to do that for a few more years ahead. And so we're also looking to potentially partner with other organizations here in the state. It's given Chief Hill a great platform. He was able to speak during HBCU week. It's a White House initiative. President Biden invited him to participate in those activities. And so it's really put a focus on Lincoln University in a very positive way that we're very proud of Chief, the cadets, the professors, the instructors, and we think that it's just the beginning of many good things to come.
Okay, good. Campus safety has become an issue over the past couple of years on college campus throughout. What has the institution done to comfort parents about the safety of Lincoln University, for their young people coming onto the campus?
Well, I think it gets back to Chief Hill, and we have a tremendous police department. They're very visible on our campus. We meet with parents from the time they drop their students off, and they're also in constant communication. We do have parents that occasionally check in. We try to make our students aware, as a lot of campuses do, to just be reminded of your surroundings, to understand the environment that you put yourself in, that you're the most responsible person for your safety. It's just being aware. And so we consider ourselves blessed to have both LUPD as well as good relationships here locally with other law enforcement agencies to keep our campus safe.
One of the things that a lot of young people coming into the campus don't understand is this being the capital, there's all kind of police.
Yes.
Highway Patrol, Jeff City Police, County Police, FBI. So there's all kind of law enforcement in this area. And a lot of young people don't understand that coming in to say that this may be a little small town, but it's well protected.
So. Capitol Police, you got at least 5 law enforcement agencies right here in Jefferson City.
Yeah. Lincoln University being an open admission institution, many students arrive on campus academically challenged. And there have been individuals over the years who have questioned the necessity of an open admission institution here in the state of Missouri. What is your position on open admission, and how can it better be administered?
Well, number one, I believe in it. This institution, since its inception, was founded on the belief of an education for all, and we're going to continue to fulfill that. The soldier's dream is still being fulfilled today, and so for us, we're about giving students an opportunity to better themselves. We understand that some of our students come to Lincoln University more underprepared than others, but we also believe that if we can take the necessary steps to ensure that we are there to help them from the time that they arrive, that we can assist with helping them get the foundation that they need to be successful. many of these students have proven throughout the years, having just gone through another Lincoln homecoming, you get to see success story after success story about how Lincoln University changed our alumni's lives. And we still believe that Lincoln's in that same business right now. And so we believe in meeting students where they are. If they're willing to put the work in, we're going to work alongside them. And we're going to get them to graduation day. And we're going to prepare them for life beyond Lincoln. And because we believe that the education doesn't change their life alone, it changes the lives of generations after them.
Yeah. I recall Dr. David Henson, who was the president of the institution a number of years ago, he would say, Lincoln University is open admission, but it's not open graduation.
Right. Very true, very true. You have to do the work. We'll
Yeah.
give you the opportunity, but if you're willing to do the work, regardless of what your background has been until this point, if you're willing to commit yourself to being the best that you can be, I'm confident that the people here at Lincoln want to make sure that you succeed.
Yeah. Getting a little bit closer to the initial reason why I called you for this interview. But just yesterday, something else popped up in the local news. What can you share with us regarding the university's progress on the academic initiative and classroom technology upgrade? What is that?
Well, for many years, technology has been the forefront of conversation. And so the state has been generous enough to provide some funding to allow institutions to address some of their technological needs. For us, in addition, as an HBCU, Senator Alma Adams, U.S. Senator out of North Carolina, U.S. Representative, introduced the HBCU Ignite Bill, which would begin to address some of the infrastructure issues that have happened at HBCUs because of underfunded resources for a number of years. And so we do feel that it's important to ensure that our students at Lincoln University have the same classroom technology that any other student will have, regardless of where they attended school. And so our staff has been spending a lot of time researching what that is to ensure that not only will it be best for our students, are our faculty prepared to utilize that technology to the best of its capability. And so I expect that we'll see some upgrades over the next couple of years. Technology is one of those areas that the day you buy something, it's aged. And so you have to constantly stay on top of things to try to stay up to date.
You spoke about the fact that your numbers dictate.
Yes, sir.
What has the numbers told you relative to students having to attend class virtually? The impact that has had on their progress. Some students may not be financially prepared to have the best access.
Right.
What has your data showed you?
Well, we've, here initially in March of 2020, credit to our students, faculty, and staff, they instantly made the transition to online learning. Some of our students had technological needs. They don't have access to computers. They didn't have access to broadband internet. And so we found students that were texting their work back to their teachers during that first spring. And so we're very appreciative of the work that our faculty put in to, again, accommodate the needs of our students to get them through. As we returned to campus last year, we were really fortunate. We were in seat the whole year. And so we made the transition back into normal class spaces. But what we have seen is an increase in hybrid classes where students may meet one day in person, but then later in the week that it may be virtual. And so we continue to explore ways that we can use CARES Act funding to potentially provide laptops for our students. But in addition to the laptops are one piece of that equation. A computer is only good as the internet you can connect to. And so having access to broadband internet is important. And so we continue to research that to see what's the most effective way for us to benefit our students.
As we indicated, it was announced during the Lincoln University homecoming that the Lincoln University National Alumni Association, under the leadership of Dr. Sherman Buns, donated $100,000. And then followed up that the 62nd and the 65th Regiment Legacy Foundation contributed $100,000 to the institution under the leadership of Hardy Dorsey. What does these type of contributions do for the university, and how can the institution better go about encouraging these type of donations from other entities?
Well, first of all, thank you to Dr. Bonds and Mr. Dorsey for their leadership in ensuring that those key stakeholders give back to this institution. We're fortunate to have a strong Lincoln University National Alumni Association. And we've seen the commitment of the 62nd and 65th Foundation to support our students. The Lincoln University Alumni Association's gift has been requested that 200 students that live on campus receive $500 in the spring. As we looked this year, CARES Act money was available for our students to help offset the cost of college and their balances for the fall. But that money has been depleted. We've used it. And so this money will assist our students with getting their balances down, taking care of their balances to ensure that they can continue their education. We have a number of good students that run into situations financially where they just don't have the resources. But we know that if we can help them get the resources, that they have the ability, and they may be the key to the next pandemic, whatever that is, the next big challenge that this country faces. And so thanks to the help of the Alumni Association and the Foundation, we just want to collaboratively work together to ensure that Lincoln students continue to succeed.
Now to the biggie. The university recently announced the implementation of the Blue Tiger Advantage Automatic Scholarship. Please share with us, one, how did this concept come about and how is it designed to work?
Great question. So this summer, we spoke with guidance counselors all across the state, local, from Kansas City, St. Louis. And one of the advantages that some other schools had was that from the time of application, students were aware of what they could receive from an academic scholarship standpoint. Lincoln's model was not designed to fit that way. It was a dual, sometimes triple step process. And so students of equal ability may not receive the same academic scholarship support. And so we charged our scholarship committee with the task of trying to find something that would be more equitable and available to a greater number of students, while we focused on ensuring that we stayed within our budgetary constraints. And so this model that they eventually settled on was one in which they used data from the last 5 years enrollment classes to determine kind of what the sweet spots were for Lincoln students. And so from that, looking at other institutions, even those within the state, Missouri Western, Northwest, Missouri State University, Westminster, just up the road in Columbia. You notice that Columbia College, I apologize. Columbia College has a model similar. And so we just wanted to find the sweet spot for what would work at Lincoln University. And so I appreciate the work that they did under the leadership of Kevin Wilson and Dr. Darius Watson, who's overseeing enrollment management. I think it's a very good step. It's been very well received by guidance counselors and students from all over the state. And now it's actually available to students beyond Missouri's borders. So when we're in Chicago or Memphis or Atlanta recruiting, those students have access to the same academic scholarships.
Okay, now, how does this work? I mean, is this perpetual?
So it's the scholarship works like this. When you apply and you know your GPA, your high school GPA and your standardized test score, it's a sliding scale. So if you have a 3.7 and a 24, you know you're going to get, I believe it's $3,250 a semester. If you maintain your GPA, you will get that for up to 8 consecutive semesters, fall and spring. It's not available for summer school, but it is available for 8 consecutive falls and springs. As you may know, Lincoln University is on full-time tuition now. flat rate tuition. And so students pay the same basic tuition rate, whether they take anywhere between 12 and 18 credit hours. And so we see this as being another step to ensure that college remains affordable, and that if students are successful in completing at least 15 hours per semester, in 4 years they'll leave Lincoln University as graduates.
A program like this requires perpetual funding. How has the institution gone about ensuring that the funding for such a dynamic program is there when needed?
So again, I credit the scholarship committee. The funding for it already exists. We have restructured the way previous scholarships, university scholarships, have been administered, such as the curators or the presidential or the deans or the institutional. They covered a greater percentage of a smaller amount for a smaller amount of students. And so these amounts allow us to, based on our last 5 classes, we're confident that we can stay within the current annual budget that's been provided for scholarships at Lincoln for a number of years now.
As we look to this closeout of this year and the going into the spring semester, what does enrollment look like?
Well, as many know, enrollment's been on a downward trend here now for at least the last 10 years. We've seen a greater percentage decrease over the last 3 to 5. Certainly the pandemic hasn't assisted us in a positive way. But I feel confident that the admission staff and their recruiters are really working hard right now. We've spent a number of time focusing on where Lincoln students come from. The #1 feeder school for Lincoln University students over the last 5 years has been Jefferson City High. The #2 high school, East St. Louis, Illinois. And so we want to make sure that we knew where Lincoln students are going to high school. There's 5 key areas from where we draw the overwhelming majority of Lincoln students. That's the heart of Missouri, to include Cole County and the 10 surrounding counties. We stretch out to Mexico, Missouri, Sedalia, Smith Cotton, down to Waynesville, where we have a campus in Fort Leonard Wood. Then you get into the metro areas of St. Louis to include East St. Louis, Illinois, Kansas City to include the Kansas side, Chicago, down to Memphis. And then we stretch our arm across to our Boot Hill friends. And so we know for a number of years there's been a great amount of individuals come here to Lincoln University from Southeast Missouri. And Lincoln's been such a difference maker in their lives. And so we're going to focus our efforts on those areas. And we're going to continue to build on the concept of relying on our alumni chapters in other areas where we get between 1 and 7, 8 students a year to continue to recruit in their areas and give them the necessary tools and equipment to go out and represent Lincoln in a great way.
And now that's one of the things that has been an issue for a number of years. I was the National Vice President of Lincoln University National Alumni Association in the 90s. And one of the things was recruiters, alumni in various locations not having the necessary tools in order to actually do a sufficient job of recruiting.
Right.
So how are you ensuring that those tools are available and accessible to individuals that want to recruit?
So Dr. Watson has been in communication with our chapter presidents. We have ordered tablecloths that have Lincoln University on them. We're in the process of getting new collateral, or we call it swag, or the giveaways and the things that attract students to come over to your table to talk about Lincoln University. And so over the next few weeks, we'll be getting those packages out to the various chapters that are interested in engaging with us. And so predating my arrival in this new role, a group of alumni had come to Jefferson City to train in the spring for this exact purpose. And now we're going to follow that up with some additional training online and ensure that they get what it is that they need to continue to tell the story of Lincoln all over this great country and really, in fact, all over this world. We often forget about the number of international students that call Lincoln home. Some of our best and brightest are international students. Some of them may be athletes, some not. They just go to school here. But Lincoln's got a presence in many different areas, and so we've got to continue to ensure that we're attracting quality students to Jefferson City.
Okay. How has this first year been for you?
It's been fun. You know, it's when you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life, and I've been really fortunate. It's been great to have our students on campus. Our students have been resilient in the middle of all the chaos that's existed. Our students, they give you life. It's great. They remind you on a daily basis of why you work as hard as you do. I know for us this fall we've had a number of programs in Richardson Auditorium, but I keep reminding them their most important day in Richardson will be when they get their diploma, and to have their families present, to see them graduate. And so I'm thankful for the tough days as well as the good days, because it just constantly keeps you focused on why you do what you do.
How have your wife and your family adjusted to the demand on your time?
You know, it's been great. I say it, and she's not here with me today, but I hit the wife lottery. And my wife and I have been married for just over 21 years now. We were together for 5 before that, so way more than half of my life we've been together. She does a great job. She insisted on maintaining her role as an assistant professor because she cares deeply for her students. And though my time demands may be increased, the biggest change is in this current role, there is no off season. Athletically, there's busy times like this, so she had become accustomed during certain times of the year, but maybe not at the constant level that currently exists. But I've been intentional. Family is important to me. My wife and my daughter are very, very important. And so even though the demands of the job can be great, I make sure that we don't lose sight of the fact that my number one responsibility is to be a father and to be a husband. And then they give me the chance to do everything else that I get to do.
Okay. Dr. Mosley, thank you very much for accepting the invitation to come and share what's going on with Lincoln University. We wish you and your endeavors much success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope that what Dr. Mosley has shared with us is informative. This academic advancement scholarship game changer. And so we are going to be watching the success of this new scholarship on the university campus. Again, I've been talking with Dr. John Mosley. He's the interim president of Lincoln University here in Jefferson City, Missouri. Stay safe. God bless.